Hello, hello. Welcome to Miami Kitchen Incubators podcast. We are here with JP Vasquez from Scale, an old brother from another mother.
What's up?
Welcome to your roots. Thank you for your time and for jumping into this conference. And we just really wanted to talk about how people should manage their brands and how digital ecosystems work. And I mean, from your experience, very experienced guy, he's worked with a lot of brands. He's the owner and founder of Scale. He's the digital crazy creative mind behind digital in Scale, together with his brother.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thank you so much for the invite. So my name is JP. I'm the founder of Scale Creative Group. People ask me what we do, and I've had a really hard time sort of explaining everything that we do because we do a lot. So the simplest way of saying it is we help brands take on the world. And we do that through insightful creative, technology, and data analysis. So we've done everything from, startup projects to, major campaigns for Fortune 100 companies. The company is about 2 years old. And before that, I used to work at a couple of big agencies that we did everything that you can possibly imagine. Won a lot of awards and did a lot of that stuff. And I said, the next time we win awards and we get a buyout is going to be for my company. So that's why I started Scale a couple of years ago, and it's been going great so far.
So yeah, Scale is based out of Washington, D.C., right? Mm-hmm. With also presence in Miami and Broward and Fort Lauderdale. And you guys been doing great work, and you don't concentrate on startups, but you do manage a couple of restaurants, and you have helped them grow and done everything from their logo to digital experiences, correct?
Yeah, one of the reasons why Scale got started was because of the restaurant and the hospitality, food services industry.
Oh, I remember you told me about.
So it got started because a friend of mine owned a restaurant in Arlington, Virginia, which is a really cool area in the DC metro area, and they had a restaurant that was really popular, but their website was really, really old. And so they reached out to me and said, "Hey, can you help us out with our website?" And so we did, and I've been working with him for, I want to say 5-6 years now. Since then, we've managed almost 10 of their restaurants, and we've built complete brands from their logo to even their menus, websites, digital marketing, everything. For a couple of the hottest restaurants in the DC metro area. One of them is called Roy Boys. You should check it out. Great fried chicken. And Bronson Beer Hall, which is a German style beer hall right in the heart of Arlington. So
that's great. And I mean, it can seem a little bit overwhelming, all the things and possibilities that people have, from social media to digital to pay-per-click, to actually making the brand stand out. It could be a little bit overwhelming in the beginning. So this podcast is for foodpreneurs, we're trying to help people in these hardships now that everybody's in lockdown to really embrace and go back to the roots and become really strong in all aspects, right? Even menu creation, reconsidering their sales pitch, branding, marketing, digital, very, very important. So all things that you can do from your home. We are really busy. I mean, you're home, but you're really busy anyway, but you got to manage your time to find that, right? So when you set your mind to something and say you're going back to your branding, a logo that you did a long time ago and you didn't pay much attention because you're going really fast, and all of a sudden now you sit back and you say, okay, does my brand, does my logo, does it speak the truth about my company and my service and my product, right? So let me ask you something. What's more important, standing out from the clutter or retention, attention, and retention?
I'm gonna say standing out. I think that is the first and biggest challenge that anybody has, um, amongst other competitors. I'm gonna call them. You know, standing out is so difficult, especially if you're new in the market. Like, how do you compete with the people who are already established if it's not by
Hmm.
standing out?
Right.
Right? You'll figure out how to retain them, right? You'll figure out that, if your food is great, you'll retain them on that side just naturally, right? And as long as you provide good customer service, retention may not be that hard. But standing out and getting that first customer is, I think, the biggest challenge that you might have. And I think is where your focus should be in the beginning, at least. And then just keep up with the quality of your work, right? Your food and your prep and your presentation, and retention will happen. The
So in
quantities.
the terms of that acquisition, how let's just talk about the importance and in backing your brand with great content, right?
Yeah.
When you're having good content that adds value
Yeah.
to your specific target group, beyond just finding your voice, is really now the content. How are you going to connect? How are you gonna find engagement through social media and through different things? What are your thoughts on content?
Content is king. Without the right content, you're going to have a hard time sort of standing out. Social media, especially for the food industry, is like where people go to find out about
Yeah.
cool new meals, or new recipes, or new spots that are opening up or anything like that. I mean, um, it's extremely important that your content is not only great, but it's consistent, right? Find your style. I hope that this is okay if I promote somebody that I follow on
Go,
YouTube.
go.
Okay. I follow this one. I guess he's like a chef or a cook. It's called Not Another Cooking Show, or Not Your Average Cooking Show.
I
And
heard of
this
it.
is
Yeah.
a guy from New York, and he does this thing where he does videos, and he always puts like the camera super super low, and he's kind of like crouching over the cutting board, and then he makes a whole meal and takes the same photo every single time. And that is his style, that is recognizably his.
Right.
And I would say, that is the one thing that I remember about that guy. He always, like, at the end of the meal, shuts down all his lights, steps on the table so you see his shoes, and takes a photo of the final meal. And that to me is so consistent. That is the one thing that I remember always. It doesn't matter what he's cooking. I just remember that moment. So it's
and,
all
and
about
that is
content
not
creation.
that is not that expensive. I mean, a lot of people are thinking of great
Not.
content and spending a lot of money in content, and it could be true for some of the productions if you want to take it to a different level, if you're Burger King, McDonald's, or something like that. But even then, uh, when you're getting into social media, we just actually posted a photography hacks and video hacks,
Yeah.
and they, even to us that we do content and we do all that, it was so simple, and yet it was so attention grabbing,
Yeah.
and in that way you don't have to relate spending a lot of money to create good content. You really have to think about what it would be good content, and then just brainstorm it with your team, and then something that connects and that adds value, right? I mean, even if it's a recipe and the way you do it, in the simple way that he's cooking, and then he shoots the same picture, then that guy. Um, that might not take him more than an iPhone and a light. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's also something that it could be a solution. And not thinking of spending a lot of money through that.
And a lot of people get this fear of, putting content out there because they're not professionals. They don't know how to do it, or what have you. Um, as long as you're being you, and you're being genuine, and you're just like doing the best that you can, and make that the thing that you own and how you do it, then that's it. That's your brand. A brand,
Yeah.
especially in a startup, is you, right? So
Yeah.
for Scale, I'm the founder. It's me. Like,
Hmm.
sure, we have great work, and work with great folks and all that stuff. But in the end, when we talk about new business, you're talking to me, and you have to like me to do business with me. Otherwise,
Right.
you're not going to do business with me. So for all those folks that are starting out, like, if even if you have an iPhone and you want to take a picture in a certain angle, just stick to that, and like practice and take the same photo every time and post it the same way, and people will understand that as your brand, and it's going to be easy for you because it's you. So I would
Yeah,
just
and
double
what
down
you're
on being
saying,
yourself.
yeah, it's staying close to your roots. I mean, right now we're in this podcast. I've never done a podcast before, and it's the first time I actually speak with you in English for so long.
I know.
This is gonna be the longest ever. But get out of your comfort zone. You gotta get out of your comfort zone. Now, the only reason that this thing is flowing and is because we found a concept that we feel right now can help people with resources, right? So
Yeah.
now, with that being the core of it, just a lot of things start flowing. But you have to do it. We're here, we're sitting here, we have a light, we have the Zoom, and then we have a phone. And it doesn't take much. But what's important is what we're talking and the resources that we're giving out to that can help you. So with this, let's get it a little bit more into step it up a notch, right?
Mhm.
When we're talking about your digital composition of your ecosystem, right? You have your brand, you have your brand that's on social media, your website, your email marketing campaign. You have all these things that need to come together, right? So, how would you best kind of explain how to bring all these things together in an ecosystem for your company?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think it's good to define what an ecosystem is, right? Like a
Mhm.
digital ecosystem or your brand ecosystem is everywhere and anywhere that somebody's going to look at you and what you're doing, right? In today's day and age, it's even hard to keep up with so many places because every single day there's a new thing that comes up that you are supposed to be on, right? I think what's important there is going back to that branding conversation where we just have to think about being consistent,
Mhm.
right? Everywhere you decide to be in, you just have to be consistent. You have to share the same thoughts and the same message style, and not have to sort of create very specific ways of thinking for very specific platforms. Now, with that said,
Sorry,
you
can I
can pick,
interrupt one second?
yeah, sure.
Don't open channels that you cannot manage because if
Absolutely. Yeah.
somebody now all of a sudden you want to be on whatever TikTok or you want to be on LinkedIn and you don't open LinkedIn for a month and somebody's been trying to reach you there, it's not a good thing. So just try to. There's so many things. There's so many
Yeah.
platforms. Try to find the ones that are more relevant to you and that you can actually manage, right? And that you have a strategy and you have that you're gonna be there responding to people and interacting all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, go on.
No, I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth because I was going to say exactly that. There's so many that could be overwhelming. Just be in the ones that you can actually manage, like you said, because like, in the end, that's who you're going to be, right? That's where you're going to be the best expression of yourself, right? In whichever one you want. Just don't choose MySpace, just for whatever it is. Don't go there.
High five.
Some
Don't
people
do
might not
high
even know
five.
what MySpace is.
Well, JP, I thank you so much for sharing this with us and giving us your take, valuable information here. On the comments, we're gonna put all the contact for JP as well and Scale. If you need to ask him for any questions, if you want inquire his services and all that. Amazing people here, and we're really happy that you jumped on the conference with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure anytime. Like he said, any sort of advice that you need, I'm happy to help out. I actually provide advice through LinkedIn as well. So like people who reach out to me, I give them, answer to their questions and things like that. And if you ever need help with, your branding or setting up things, I'm happy. Anybody who comes from the incubator to hook them up. So we'll help
Awesome.
them out. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, and it'll be next time that we'll be going through some more resources for Miami Kitchen podcast. And thank you all for joining. Thank you, JP.
Thank you, guys.
Please stay safe.